victim of apologetic propaganda. We'd like to conclude our program by reading a letter from a subscriber in Tucson, Arizona. He says, quote, "I'm a loyal subscriber to BE, but let me say at the outset that I am not a biblicist, a religionist, pluralist, or a fundamentalist, though I do believe in God. I wrote this letter in reference to the stalls and baths comments on page 5 in the 120th issue of BE. If you'll recall, this was the contradiction we mentioned many programs ago, in which the same story had 4,000 stalls in one account and 40,000 in another, and 2,000 baths in one account and 3,000 in another." At any rate, he continues, "I see no reason why copyist errors may not have been involved, since the Hebrew system of writing numbers involved modified forms of Hebrew letters with dots written above them to indicate orders of magnitude. Thus, a single omitted dot could make the difference between 4,000 and 40,000. In response to this, I said, "The copyist error defense simply won't save the day in this instance or hundreds of others, my friend. The reasoning in this regard is relatively simple. First, although the alleged originals no longer exist, there are thousands of manuscripts claiming to be accurate copies of the alleged originals. When scholars decided to write such versions as the King James, the Revised Standard, the Modern Language, the American Standard, the Jerusalem Bible, the New International Version, and so forth, they went through either some, many, or all of the manuscripts available, compared what was said in each, reached a consensus, and chose to use 40,000 in 1 Kings 4:26 and 4,000 in 2 Chronicles 9:25, for example. In order for there to have been a copyist error, the same incorrect figure had to have been copied in scores, if not hundreds or thousands of manuscripts, certainly not just one or two. Are we supposed to believe that hundreds, if not thousands, of copyists made precisely the same error when they copied 1 Kings 4:26 and 2 Chronicles 9:25 from the originals? They not only copied incorrectly, but all of them made the same error. Biblicists like to talk about odds. What do you think are the odds of that happening? No doubt they are comparable to the percentages biblicists toss around, the ones they love to toss around, in regard to the possibility of Jesus fulfilling all of the Old Testament messianic prophecies, something we'll discuss in a later program. Biblicists constantly try to pawn this kind of problem off on one lone copyist or scribe back in some monastery or catacomb somewhere who happened to make one simple mistake. This can't help but be amusing in light of the fact that thousands of manuscripts are involved with the verse. Second, even if there were a copyist mistake, you could never be sure which figure was copied incorrectly. Was it the 40,000 figure that should have been 4,000? Or was it the 4,000 figure that should have been 40,000? Because you can never know for sure, you might just as well expunge both parts of them from the Bible. They're both worthless. One is definitely incorrect, and you'll never know which. Third, and very important, is the fact that the manuscripts contradict one another, and until the original is produced, the contradiction remains. Now get this. Biblicists are asking us to ignore a contradiction that's staring us in the face in favor of nothing more than a theory that can't be substantiated. The fact is that the contradiction stands and will continue standing until evidence is produced to the contrary. The burden of proof lies on him who alleges. Because the contradiction is clear and obvious, biblical critics are under no obligation to prove a contradiction exists in some alleged original manuscripts which biblicists can't produce or even prove existed. Biblicists, on the other hand, are obligated to prove there are no contradictions in the original writings, and that they are completely incapable of doing. That completes our presentation, and please join us later for the 22nd edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary, when we'll continue showing why the Bible is nothing more than the flawed composition of some fallible human beings. Thank you for listening.